It's nationwide coverage. Service contracts cover all 50 states and Canada in most cases. I don't know one that doesn't, but I just had to disclaim in most cases in case there is one that doesn't. All 50 states and Canada. If you go down to Mexico, you're sort of like on your own. A lot of service contracts, or most of them, all of them I've seen, don't cover breakdowns in Mexico. But they will cover breakdowns in Canada or the continental U.S. or Hawaii. You know, I don't know about Puerto Rico. You got to check that out. But, you know, Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, you'll never have to negotiate with a repair facility. No unnecessary parts, no counterfeit parts, only factory authorized parts, no counterfeit parts. This is a very strong presentation with a female customer that, as a generality, not as a rule, might distrust service facilities. And some men don't mistrust service facilities, same argument. You'll never again have to endure those things. I'm about to show you one of the strongest closes I use on pre-owned service contracts. Now, everybody, let me ask you, I hope you can see this on the camera. What is that? You're right, it's the Federal Buyer's Guide. It's on every used car you sell. I mean, it's by law has to be in the rear window of the car. As a matter of fact, if you're not displaying this on the car and the Federal Trade Commission finds out about it, it's $11,000 fine for every vehicle that doesn't have a Federal Buyer's Guide as is. So the Federal Buyer's Guide. I looked at this as an F&I manager about 10 years ago. And I realized at that time the most incredible thing. Watch it. Now, most people just get the customer to sign this and they move on. Watch what I do with it. Mr. Customer, this is another mandatory disclosure required by the Federal Trade Commission. And by the way, it's 100% true. The Federal Trade Commission requires that you do this document. It is not optional. So, Mr. Customer, this is another mandatory document required by the Federal Trade Commission. Another mandatory disclosure, another mandatory disclosure required by the Federal Trade Commission. Now, Mr. Customer, it says here that we have a limited warranty. The dealer will pay a certain percentage of repairs, whatever. No warranty, implied warranties only, whatever. So I read that to him. What warranty you have. You have no warranty, you have a 50-50 warranty, whatever the dealer has given you. Remaining factory warranty, whatever. But below that is a statement that I picked up on the Buyer's Guide. And I'm reading it right off the Federal Buyer's Guide. I'm not making this up. It says service contract. A service contract is available at an extra charge on this vehicle. Ask for details as to coverage. Whoa! A service contract is available at an extra charge on this vehicle. Ask for details as to coverage, deductible price, and exclusions. The federal government put that on there. I didn't write that on there. So what I say to the consumer, Mr. Customer, I'm required by law to tell you that a service contract is available on this vehicle at an additional price. Matter of fact, I need your initials here, that I explained that to you and I didn't withhold that information from you, as if I would. Yeah. Mr. Customer, I'm required by law to inform you that a service contract is available in this vehicle at an additional charge. It says so right here. Let me have your initials where it says that. Now let's turn to the back of the Buyer's Guide. That's where it gets really cool. The back of the Buyer's Guide. Everybody got that? The back of the Buyer's Guide. Printed by the federal government. Well, printed by whoever got to print it, but the wording is required by the federal government. Go to the very bottom of the back of the Federal Buyer's Guide. There is the word important. Now listen to what I do here. Mr. Customer, look at the back of this form before we sign it. It says, important. The information on this form is part of any contract to buy this vehicle. wow. I looked at that and I went, holy cow. Mr. Customer, important. The information on this form is part of any contract to buy this vehicle. This is an addendum to your contract required by the federal law. When they sign this, it is an addendum to their contract. It's part of the contract to buy the car by federal law. Stop treating this form as frivolous. Now, Mr. Customer, if you will notice, the federal government has listed nearly 100 items that commonly fail or break down on pre-owned vehicles. The federal government has listed 100 items or more on the back of the Federal Buyer's Guide that commonly fail. It says below is a list of some major defects that may occur in used vehicles. It says so right at the top. Remember, I didn't put that on there, the government did. Mr. Customer, notice that the federal government has listed nearly 100 items that commonly fail in pre-owned vehicles. By your signature affixed, you're agreeing to self-insure on these vehicles should you not purchase a service contract. I need your signature here. This is a mandatory disclosure required by the Federal Trade Commission, becomes part of your contract, that you've agreed to self-insure on these items should you not purchase a service contract. Now, I might not say it that forcefully, but I just gave you the idea. Hey, Mr. Customer, the federal government has listed 100 items on the back of the buyer's guide that commonly fail on pre-owned vehicles. It says so right here. And by your signature affixed, it's because part of the contract to buy the vehicle. It's a mandatory signature, a mandatory disclosure. We're required to review this with you and required to sign it. And guess what, Mr. Customer? When the ink dries on this piece of paper, it becomes part of your contract, and you've agreed to self-insure on these items should they fail on a pre-owned vehicle outside the normal warranty periods. What a great F&I disclosure. Let's look at some common objections customers may have. You'd like to hear some common objections? I had a service contract on my last car and I never used it. How many people have heard that one? I had a service contract on my last car and I never used it. Go. Well, that's great. Hopefully you won't need to use it on this car. You buy a service contract, and in the event that you might use it, it'll pay many times over your investment in many cases. In many cases, a service contract will deliver, it's no limit to the number of times you can use it. Now, if I've got great rapport with the customer, I had a service contract on my last car and I never used it. That's great, Mr. Customer. Let me ask you, in the event of your untimely demise, have you made any preparation to take care of your family in the event of your untimely death? Well, yeah, I've got life insurance. Life insurance. Did you have it last year? Well, yeah, I did. Are you pissed off you didn't die? Oh, who knows? You had your service contract last year and you never used it. You had your life insurance last year and you never used it, but you're not complaining and pissed off you didn't die. You don't buy life insurance hoping you die. You buy it in the event that you might die. Let me ask you, Mr. Customer, does your wife have car insurance? Mrs. Customer, does your husband have car insurance? Well, yeah. Did they have that insurance all of last year? Well, yes, they did. Are you pissed off they didn't have a major head-on collision and let you collect on it? No, you buy car insurance in the event that you might have a collision. And you pay anywhere from 3 to 10 times as much for your car insurance as you do for the service contract, and the service contract has a 3 times greater chance you'll make a claim. You pay anywhere from 3 to 10 times as much for your car insurance, depending on your age and driving habits. 3 to 10 times as much for your car insurance, but you've got 3 times the possibility of having a claim on your service contract. It's a great value.